go now to Washington and a rare moment of political unity at tonight's State of the Union address, inspired by Ukraine.
Ukrainian ambassador to the United States is here tonight, sitting with the First Lady. Let each of us, if you're able to stand and send an unmistakable signal to the world of Ukraine.
And indeed, there was a standing ovation from members of Congress for the Ukrainian ambassador, many on the floor waving Ukrainian flags. The ambassador invited to sit with First Lady Jill Biden during the president's speech. Katie Simpson is at the Capitol tonight. And Katie, this was President Biden's first State of the Union address, and the invasion of Ukraine, one of the key topics.
Yeah, this is a moment, Ian, that President Joe Biden used to try to convince anxious Americans and anxious allies that democracy can and will succeed. He argued that the stakes couldn't be higher and that if Americans and allies remain united, that is the only way the West can overcome this crisis.
But I want you to know, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. When the history of this era is written, Putin's war in Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. While it shouldn't have taken something so terrible for people around the world to see what's at stake, now everyone sees it clearly.
Biden is making the case to American voters that the justification for more sanctions, even if it means higher gas prices and higher food prices here in the United States. Inflation is already a massive problem for the Biden administration, and Joe Biden made some promises tonight to try to blunt that, specifically, which is of interest to Canada, that he wants to help build up the domestic manufacturing sector, specifically mentioning electric vehicles. That's a sore spot in the Canada-U.S. relationship right now. But for President Joe Biden right now, that does not matter. This is an election year, a midterm election year, and President Biden needs to bring up support within his own party and help try to bring the country together. Before the crisis in Ukraine, that was already a challenge, but now President Joe Biden, taking on that traditional role as leader of the free world, is trying to hold Western allies together in the face of this crisis of democracy. Ian.
Thanks, Katie. Katie Simpson in Washington at the Capitol tonight.